Hi, my name is Cheri, and today I'm going to be showing you a fun card. I'm going to use the Silhouette Scenes. This is a different kind of stamp set and die bundle from Stampin' Up. I think you're really going to like it. The card I'm going to do today is geared more towards the guys in your life. It could be from a little guy all the way up to your great-grandfather. I kind of designed it with my grandfather in mind. He's no longer living. I used this little guy down here with the airplane, but really any guy in your life, or you could switch it up, switch the colors up and go with the little girl that's pointing here, or the I think she's a little girl. I think this one is kind of whichever way you want to go with it, because I can't tell if that's a ponytail or a scarf. So either way, kind of with the color scheme, kind of do it with what you want. But it's a real fun bundle, and take a look at it in the catalog if you haven't seen it, or go down below this video if you're watching on YouTube, and I'll have the link for you there. It's a great month to buy the bundle, because if you're watching this in July, Stampin' Up! Is doing a, for every $50 you spend, you'll get a $5 credit to use in August. So get it now. So here's the die I'm going to use. It's a tree. I actually have a wedding invitation from our best man. Got married in Australia in May, and their wedding invitation looks very similar to this, so I'm excited to make them a card. I'm going to send it to them. I already sent their gift, and they're honeymooning off in Europe forever, so I have a while to do it, but I want to make something that kind of is similar to their wedding invitation, because it does look like a lot like that. This card is not going to look like a wedding invitation, but for this die, I found in my Big Shot, it kind of depends on what you're using to cut it. I found it worked best upside down, and then I ran it through twice, just because it's got lots of little leaves, and it was just easier to do that. So run that through, and then with it upside down, you're able to see as you run it through if they all cut, and I can tell those are all cut. So we're going to need the Big Shot again for some texture. So then if you are familiar with this used to be in our catalog, and it was the Sizzix brush to roll it through, and we no longer carry that. I love it, and if you have like the stitched lace die, I can't talk this morning, then this is like a necessity. There's some dies that it just really helps. This is a die that it does help. So if you don't have this and you're like, well, I didn't get it before it was gone, that's okay, because we have a new replacement. So in the catalog now, you can order this. And you know, I have a feeling in the future, those of you who watch my videos know sometimes I'm lazy. It's actually designed to go on the end of the Take Your Pick tool. So if you're not familiar with the Take Your Pick tool, I have two of them. Thanks to my girlfriend, one of them has my name on it because she had it engraved. Thank you, Heather. So they have different, take your pick of which tool you need. So here's my pokey thing, here's my spatula, which this is the end that I used the most. This has like sticky stuff that comes out of it to pick up your sequins, pick up little things that are stuck on the table. And I keep this one out because it can ooze out if you're not using it. So I have like my picks, and there's another end as well. I don't have my other end laying here. So I just keep my little ends in here. So this is designed to go in the end. So maybe I'll keep it in here. I don't know. It's a little bulky. So it screws in the end where the gucky stuff comes out. So it screws in here, and look, now you have your own. So now you have another take your pick of what you need for a tool. And when you buy it, it comes with a foam mat. And because I'm not very good at reading in the catalog what things come with, I thought, well, when I got it, that's a really huge foam mat. It's because there's two of them. So there's one for now and one for later. So take that. I don't need all of my pieces. And you just put this over here, and then as you roll it on, then this comes out, and that comes out, and it should take care of all of the pieces at once. So see, there you go. How beautiful is that? Let me move. I should have got this out before I picked it up. It's just stuck on itself. Here you go. Here, I'll move that. Everything's out. olive piece of cardstock so you can just see. Isn't that pretty? And so their wedding invitation was a larger one, and it had a bird on it. It was beautiful. So I can see lots of really ornate things with just this tree. The set comes with some words, the die set, and a dandelion. So we're going to use this. I'll go ahead and do this since I've got it. So this, fabulous. It's so much faster. I mean, you can use your little pokey thing and poke, 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 or you can just roll, roll, and be done. So that is in the catalog now. So here's a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to lay this on here. And if I was doing like a beautiful wedding card, I might just leave that in the vanilla. But this, it's not really a military look, but it's more just of a guy look. So I'm just going to color it. I have my dark and light soft suede. I'm going to start with I'll just tell you, the dark, whichever one was in my hand. And I'm going to use the brush tips on these. It's a little, you just have to kind of hold it because it moves, obviously, because it's all lifted up. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hints of the dark to all of the branches and the twigs. And then go back with my soft. And you'll want to do this before you mount it to your card because I thought, and it was okay. I touched it up. You wouldn't definitely not want to do the whole thing, but I did touch it up after I mounted it to my card, and no matter how careful you are, these twigs and the leaves are they're so beautiful and so ornate, but it's hard to not color on the back of your card if you try to add. I thought this could be a little bit darker. So I tried to add a little bit more and tried to be careful. And then I think, you know how you're like, oh, well, this isn't too bad. And then you get just a tad bit cocky. You're like, oh, I got this. And then I touched my card, which it's not noticeable because there's so much going on with these leaves. But I see it. So just get your tree so it looks beautiful before you mount it to your card. I know y'all think sometimes that those of us that do this don't make mistakes. Trust me, we make a lot of them. We just hope that we don't do it on camera. But sometimes we do. And if you watched all my videos, I'm sure you've seen a few. Back when I was working full-time and I mostly did sped up videos because I could edit those at work. And stuff could be going on in my house because when you do a sped up video that you can't, you can talk while it's on, but life could be going on in my house. Because when you speed it up, if you're talking, you'll sound like a chipmunk. So it was just easier to do them that way. And I know some of you like them that way because you don't need to hear all of the tips. You just want to see the cards. But if you want to watch a sped up one, just take the little bar at the bottom of your YouTube screen and just pull it. So you have the option. But back when I did the sped up videos, if you messed up, it was far easier to see because it happened so fast you often didn't see that I was messing up. So here we've got the trunk. Just blend all that together. And then I've got my dark and my light olive. So this is, again, a masculine card. So we're just going for, and with the leaves, I didn't get all of it. Like I left, there's some white. And you do need to be careful because they're so dainty. So just use your brush tip. You don't want to use the bullet tip. I just kind of brush it over them. So I'm starting with the light. This is where I went back and tried to add some to my cards because they were mostly light, and then when I added it on it, they just needed a little bit more of the dark olive to kind of give them some contrast. As you can see, when you're working on this scrap paper, because you have all this going on behind you, I thought, well, that looks great. But then when I got it on my card, I just bent that one up because I'm talking. It really needed a little bit more contrast. So now they've all got a little bit of the light. So now take your dark. And again, just add some. This would be beautiful in fall colors, would it not? Just hit all these with a bunch of the colors of autumn. How beautiful would that be? Like I said, once I started looking at this set and thinking, what do I want to do? Because this will be a camp card. If you're in Indianapolis and you would want to come to camp, it's on, it's July 19th, whatever that Friday is. We've got vacation coming up, you know, and booking all the hotels and flights, and I got those days down. And then there's life after vacation. But this is a camp card. So I was trying to do the card first that we could make at camp. And we were heavy on florals, which is often the case because Stampin' Up! Gives us such great floral cards. So I was trying to do a card because most of my girls that come to camp use their cards. So it's nice to have the option for the guys in their life that they'll have something that they can give them. But when I started looking at this set, I have, and this is often the case, I had at least 50 ideas in my head. I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do that, I could do that. And I didn't write them all down. Sometimes I jot a lot of them down, but I'm in a hurry because it's got 4th of July. We've got my daughter's 25th birthday. We have people coming for 4th of July dinner. We got fireworks. We got birthday parties. We got moving. We got house cleaning. We got packing. So I didn't jot anything down. So I'm just hoping that I retain all of those ideas I had. So this is where I stopped last time. I'm going to lay this on the pool party. That looks pretty good. This time I did add more color. So lay it there to make sure that you kind of like the color. So I chose pool party, so we would have kind of a sky background. So then we're going to go with this little guy here. And you can see it's a little guy. So if you want to give it to a child, it's perfect for a little boy's card. And he's got a little airplane that he's playing with outside. Soft suede is the ink. We're almost done with this card. This would also be good as a demonstrator team. We do some events in the area. So if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you'd want to come, we have one coming up in September. And our charity of choice is the Honor Flight for veterans. And this would make a great Honor Flight card, I think, where we give cards to them, and as they go on their honor flights, they get cards to read, and this just has that feel of an honor flight card. Now here's a trick for you. When you stamp with these solid stamps, sometimes you see just a little bit of color through. Not bad, and I would be okay with that. But because I happen to have my suede markers here, and I just used suede, I'm going to take my dark suede, and you have to stay in the middle. If you get too close to the edge, it will bleed. So just fill in any place where there's a bigger gap in color. But again, if you get close to the edge, it'll bleed out and then your image won't be pretty. So don't do that. Just stay in the middle. And you might ask me how I know that. It's from learning that. I make these mistakes and learn so I can tell you, and you don't have to waste a piece of cardstock. So see, it just makes it a little bit more stark. And that works when you have the same color of blend that you do ink. It doesn't work so well with the Stampin' Right markers, unfortunately, because they leave lines in it. Now I'm going to take my tree, and then I have Old Olive for my base, which is one of the classic, fabulous, most wonderful Stampin' Up! Colors that we've ever had. I know a lot of you agree. And there will probably be riots if they ever get rid of Old Olive. So fold that in half. And then I'm not going to mount this yet, but I just want to see for placement where I want to put it. So lay this here. See, because this is going to go to the edge of my actual card. So I need to know where I'm going to put it on my pool party. Here. So I've got this. I'm going to take where the trunk is and add some adhesive. Again, make sure your pool party's kind of laid, but I'm not sticking it down yet because this is going to go through your die cut machine again. So lay this here. This goes all the way to the edge because this is designed to look like it goes to the edge of the card. Some of the leaves do overhang. If you're going to put it in an envelope, then you can trim those off. If you're going to stick it to a gift or just the front of a gift bag, then you can leave them because they look beautiful like that. Or you can cut your card just a fraction bigger and make a personalized size envelope, but see what I mean? So this lines up to the edge and then that goes. Or you could finagle it and turn your card a different way, I think, and get it to fit. But for me, I liked it like this direction. So now we're gonna take this, go back to the your die cut machine, get my very, very favorite folder, which is the Subtles. If you don't have this yet, Stampin' Up! Is making their own folders now, and this is when it was made by Sizzix. So right now they're not available until production has started on ours, but it will come back. So if you don't have it and you want it, it will come back. So if you go to the website and it says it's not available, just hang on because it will come back. So hopefully you got it when I told you how wonderful it was in the past, and then you have it. So we're just going to send all this through together. It just takes one plate if you're using a Big Shot. If you're using something else, just kind of figure it out. Once it comes out and it's a Stampin' Up! One, it will be a 3D plate, and you'll need the blue plate to run it through. And then this does like magic, and it presses it all together. Isn't that pretty? So it's all pressed. If you're giving it to an older gentleman, you can probably just leave it. Because see, this is not stuck. It's only stuck where my adhesive was. So I just took some glue dots, which are now stuck to my dimensionals, because you know, glue dots stick. So I took glue dots, and the glue dots, even though they're tiny, in comparison to these, they're kind of giant. So just take them and snip them in half. So then I have 2 glue dots out of 1. And then just lift up a couple of places of this, like over here on the edge, I'll do this. And the nice thing is when you pull it up, it leaves an imprint of where it was, so you know exactly where to stick one. It gives it a little bit more of a 3D effect too, because it'll leave them raised up. And I'm only gonna stick this one. I used 3 glue dots on my original, so it's kind of randomly stuck up. But see, you can see where it's, and I have a card where I did the butterfly like that, and I left it so you could see the impression because it's beautiful. But this I think is too fine, and I think this would get. So we've got that. Now you're going to take 4 dimensionals, put these on the back. Put this on our card. And then the saying, like if you're going to give it to a little guy, I would just go with happy birthday or something fun, because we've got lots of fun little boy sayings. This, I was thinking more if I make a couple of these for our honor flight for when we do our charity cards in September. And if you're a demonstrator and you want to come to our event, you can go to my Facebook page and look under the demonstrator tab, and we've got all the information for that. So, or if you're giving it, like if I was going to give it to my uncle or somebody older, I went with this saying, and then you could put happy birthday on the inside, just because I really liked it. This is from, it may be called Your Classic. It's the car set. I should have looked up. But it's the one that has like the Mustang. And it was from the Occasions catalog, but it has carried over into our main catalog. So I'm just going to take it on Versamark. I have another piece of old olive. And the reason I have a giant strip here, I know some of you are like, that's a giant piece of wastage. But it's because we're going to do it at camp, so they can all just use that. So I've stamped it in the Versamark because I'm trying to not only make projects, I'm trying to, as I film them and make them, pack them up so they're all ready for camp. So I'm trying to like kill 52 birds with 1 stone, which isn't very nice because I like birds. I'm just trying to be a little bit intentional as I do things this week. So I've got the white embossing powder in here. I'm going to heat that. You just want to heat it till it melts. And it will turn all the way white. Put it up where I know that you can see it. I lose view of my phone when I stand up, so you guys can see. bottom of my wise knot. There we go. So, I guess it's because my daughter's turning 25, and because we did a Facebook Live. I do a demonstrator group Facebook Live on Facebook. It's a public one. We have a private one too, but anybody can watch it with my girlfriends. One of them who's leaving for the Greece incentive trip today because she earned that. But somebody from Australia commented, and that's where I learned to stamp. And when she commented, it always, you know, when the girls from Australia comment, I'm like, homesick. But I thought, oh, my daughter's 25, so I learned to stamp. I was probably 6 months pregnant when I learned to stamp, and she was born there. So I'm like, it's been 25 years exactly that I learned to stamp. So I've been stamping for 25 years. I don't like math. So there's not going to be very many times in my stamping career that I figure out exactly how many years I've been stamping. But because my daughter's turning 25 this week, it was an easy math equation. So I've been stamping for 25 years. If I would have thought about it like 3 months ago, it would have been 25 years exactly. But I learned to stamp, and embossing, that was what made me think of it just now, because that was the only thing I did. I embossed and I colored it in with markers, and then I owned 3 watercolor pencils because stamping wasn't quite what it was. There was not embossing guns. Nobody had an embossing gun. There were not sets of really anything, so I went to the craft store. Stampin' Up! Did exist, obviously, because we've been around for like 31 years now, because our 30th, but it did not exist in Australia. So when we moved back here was when I first found out about it, because my aunt worked with somebody who was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. She no longer is. She did not last much longer than once I signed up. So I've just cut these apart with scissors. Don't use a paper trimmer. You don't need to. You want it to be it's a guide card. So we're just going to stick these on here. And I really liked I think this just gives it a nice vintage feel. The colors, the You're a Classic, the little boy, and it really, to me, it's a perfect honor flight card if you do stuff like that, if you have somebody that's kind of that generation, a veteran. But it also could be a perfect little boy card too. So all generations of guys. So here's my other one. And if you look real close, then you can see where I got my blends on the background. So there you go. I will have all of the supplies listed down below the video. And like I said, there's so many ideas I have with this, so hopefully I will get some up if I have time. I'm trying to get videos up to post while we're on vacation, but you know, sometimes the real world and reality real world reality and your to-do list don't mesh. So I will try, but I have to get my camp projects, and I don't do 2 stamp sets at one camp. So there you go. But if you want to make this card at home, I would love if you buy the supplies from me. I would love if you subscribe to my channel. There is a Stampin' Up! Special this month. It's the best special. If you want to join my team, then you can be part of our online group of demonstrators. And I have a great Facebook group. We have a great time together. If you're in Indy, you can come to our live, in-person get-togethers, but we do stuff online together as well. But if you sign up to be a demonstrator, you get $30 more of free stuff in your starter kit, whatever you pick, and then another $10 in the next month following. So all of that information can be found on my website. It's stampinonline.com. Have a great day. Bye.